Hello, welcome to our webinar today about Readers Advisory Services. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, you can. What we're going to be talking about today is Readers Advisory, which is a question that has always delighted and horrified librarians. When people come up and ask you for a book, that's when you tend to freeze. But that question is made much easier because we have online tools that assist us with Reader's Advisory, and that's what I want to show you today. We're going to be looking at two databases that we have, and let's first get into them. In order to get into our databases, you must go to newcitylibrary.org, which you see right over here. Then we're going to go over to eLibrary, electronic library, click on Databases and Research. Now, I'm kind of in the way, but one of the, oh no, here we go. All right. So we're going to look under the topic called literature. We could also do databases A to Z, get an alphabetical list, but if we don't know the names of the databases, let's go into literature. And you can see we have a bunch of databases here. We're only going to be concerned with BookBrowse and Novelist. The other ones tend to be more for students. Okay, so the first one that we see is BookBrowse. This is funded by the New City Library, which means that only New City Library cardholders can access it. You can also use it at the library, but that's a little problematic in these times, but let's just talk about it anyway. We're going to log in because we're outside the library. Now, it tells you here it's for patrons of the New City Library. It doesn't ask you for your barcode number right away. It will ask you later on. For some reason, it doesn't ask me. It must be, my internet address.
It looks like you're logged in, Nancy.
I'm still logged in. Okay.
As it says log out. Is this something where you create an account? Or it just means that it remembers that you were...
It remembers, yeah, it remembers you. You can't, well, we'll get to it later. You don't create an account, but you can ask it for emails. Now, the first thing we look at is it has today's top picks. These are changed, probably they change one a week. And you can click on one of these and get more information. So let's say we want to look at this book, Nights When Nothing Happened. Now, this is what you are going to get when you click on any title. You're going to get basically this information. You're going to get some information when it was published, the genres, critics, it got 4.5 stars, reader's opinion, you notice it's not yet rated. They rely heavily also on readers' opinions. Gives you information on the book. One nice feature is it gives you a lengthy excerpt. This is just a short one, but you can read the full one. BookBrowse review what they think about it. Media reviews is what magazines and newspapers and library literature sources think. And reader reviews, if there were any, it would be here. They also have a little beyond the book, which is like a little extra treat about the book, whether it's about food or about just a little, one segment of the book they'll talk about. They give you some reader likes, and you can look at all the reader likes, and then you get quite a list. Now, one of the things that's really good about this, and it's also found in Novelist, is that you can search for this book in New City Library. So if this is something you want to read, you can click on Search This Book, and it brings you right to our catalog. So we're going to click on the title, and it tells you, more information on the book, and it says, New City does own this book. It's being transferred between libraries, so it's either on its way in or its way out, but you can place a hold on it. So that's kind of like a very handy little aspect of this. So we'll close, go back. Okay, so that's, and this information, sometimes it's more filled out, sometimes less. Oh, I forgot to do this. There's a little introduction to BookBrowse, so there's a little movie that you can watch too. It explains it. The thing about BookBrowse that's different is that they really do the best of the best. It's not comprehensive. You're not getting every book that's published. You're getting what they consider the best, what they recommend. Editor's choice, readers recommend. So that's where it differs from, say, something like Novelist. Okay. They also have something called the review, where they have it's twice a month. They have a little newsletter that they put out. They talk about, there's a little introduction here, then the reviews. Anything in yellow is new. You can click on it and you'll get some information here about the book, reader likes, and then of course you can go back and see if the library has it. Even if it shows that it's not in New City Library, put it on hold anyway. It could be that we just haven't processed it yet, or if we don't have it on order, I get a list every Monday of books that have been put on order that the library doesn't own, and then I'll be prone to order that book. So the review, which is very handy, you can subscribe to that, and then it will come up in your mailbox. Okay, we looked at today's top picks. They have Beyond the Book articles. This is very handy, publishing this week, and you can look at what's coming out. And this is for the week of January 10th. Books are generally released on Tuesday, so these books were released yesterday. January 10th would have been Sunday. Okay, so if there's anything here you see that you might want to read, click on it, get the information. There's not all that much because this is a new book. There's no excerpt, it's just a summary. And then you can check and see if the book is in New City Library. Gives you the large print, and it gives you the regular print. Now, as you see here, it doesn't show that we own it. It is on order, but you can still place it on hold, and we'll take care of that for you. Okay. So that's what's new. Another thing I like is Coming Soon, which gives you a lookout for the month. It goes up to June, so you could just click on this little arrow, look at February, and this will give you an idea of what's coming out. You can download a list, and you could also pick your books from here, pick Guard County Atlas, and then you get, as you see, it should be pretty familiar now. You're seeing same information, more or less, some filled out more than others, and then you could search for it. Readers recommend. I really think this is a nice feature. These are what regular people think, like a Goodreads. If you click on, say, this book, The Prophets, there's a lot of reader reviews of this book. So even if you've never heard of it or you didn't know about it, you can still say, well, these people loved it, so maybe that's something I'd want to read. You can read an excerpt. Reading Guide, which I wouldn't recommend before you've read the book because it may give away some spoilers. And then check to see if the book is in New City Library, put it on hold. So we look at it, we see, here it is. No holds. Okay, so The Prophets. The book is not shown this big in our library, but I promise you I did order it. But you can place it on hold, and then when New City's copy comes in, you'll be right there. All right. What else do we want to look at? Reader likes are good. If you can't get a hold of that, in the meantime, you might want to look at some of these other books. Find books, cross-reference themes. This is a way to, you don't know what you're looking for, but you want to look around. Now, you see it only has 2,742 books in general fiction, which isn't that many, but it's a lot to look through. So you might want to filter it by genre. So you're looking for love stories, and you get down to 178, and maybe you want a time period. You want 40s and 50s. Okay, and then you'll see a list of 15 books. And then again, you can click on them, see if something you want to read, see if the library has it. So that's another very quick and easy way to use it. Tag clouds, I'm not really crazy about them. If you're looking for historical fiction, it gives 498. Okay, and we see there's no way to filter it. It's just giving you everything that's considered historical fiction. So that's probably not the best way to look. That's why I don't like tag clouds. Award winners, read-alikes are always fun, and they do a good job. These are hand-selected. They don't use an algorithm. So if you like the book 22 Britannia Road, you get some information on that, but you've already read it. You want to read alike, see all read alikes, and then you're going to get this list. And then when you click on it, you'll get the information about the book, and then you'll have the way to search for it in our library. Okay, and also authors. You like an author, put the author's name in, you'll get read alikes. They have a lot of information on book clubs. They have an online discussion, which they pick one book, two books here, and they're discussing it. This is a brand new book. I don't know how many people want to get involved in doing a book discussion for this, but you can post your comments, and you can also look at online discussions from the past and see what other people thought of a book. If you just finished reading The Henna Artist, you've no one to talk to about it, you might want to see what other people thought. So that's a cute little thing. It also helps find books for book discussions, book clubs, and 81 guides just for the letter A. So, or you could browse. I say, well, we decided we want to read a book that takes place in a certain time period, 17th century or earlier. And then they will give you a list of books that take place in that time period that have reading guides. The Devil in Dark Water just came out. You could click on it, and then the reading guide is right here. And then there you go. You could choose a book and then check to see if New City has it. Okay, authors, they have biographies. This is actually would have been very helpful for me last week because I mispronounced the name of this author. And if I had only sought to look at this, I called him Aravind Adiga, but it's Aravind Adija. So that's actually a nice little feature. They have a blog on different topics, a lot on book clubs. Fun, they have little games and word plays and things. And then I'll tell you more about this database. This is kind of a mom and pop database. I talked to the Davina, the founder of it. So there might just be a mom. I don't know if there's a pop involved, but they are very earnest in their desire to find you the best of the best. They really are trying to save you the trouble of wading through tons and tons of books, which can be very difficult. A lot of books are published. So you can see that they do about 80 to 100 books a month. And that's just a fraction of what's published every month. So this is really, I would really advise you to use it. Just to go down here. If you want to watch the little introduction, they probably put it more succinctly than I do. But it's got a lot of nice features. It's a lot of fun, actually. You can enter a contest to win a book. And I'm very happy with this database. I wish it got more use, but I think it does a really nice job of helping you find something to read. It's got a lot of repetition. It'll have things in the same place. Book clubs is here, book clubs is there. It's down here.
And
So
post questions in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Check them.
Okay, so let's go to the other reader's advisory that we have. Okay, so use screen share. Okay, so we're going to go back to newcitylibrary.org, eLibrary, databases and research, databases A to Z, and we're going to go on Novelist. Okay, so we got to scroll down and get through all the ends till we find Novelist. First one that comes up is the K through 8. We're going to ignore that one unless you want to be looking for your child. This is funded by RCLS Central Library, Newburgh, which means it's available to everyone with an RCLS library card. I'm going to log in. Okay, so Here we go, Novelist. Novelist is owned by EBSCO, so it's not a mom and pop operation. It's a big time database, and we've gotten it for years. Even when we didn't get it through the system, we paid for it on our own. I just want to look. I use this box when I'm looking for a book that I already know the name of. I'll just type, if I want more information on a book, say I'm looking for a book for my book discussion, I'll put in the name of the book, closed casket, search, and I'll get this book came out in September 2016, which is good, it's not new. Gives me a little description and the appeal terms. It gives me reviews. I can see what it's about. What it's not giving me is an excerpt. They occasionally did have excerpts. Now I think they never do. I haven't seen one in a long time. If I do want an excerpt, I can go into Goodreads from here. I click on where it says reviews, and this takes me to Goodreads. All right, go back to closed casket, and I want to check and see if the library owns it. Check the library catalog. In seconds, I'm on here. 27 copies. The New City Library does own this book, and I can place it on hold. And the library, or I can call the library and have it put on hold for me. So that's a very quick and easy way to get hold of this book. Okay, you could also do that same thing with an author. But I recently had a situation where I was looking for, and this is when I use keyword, I was looking for a book that I had read and I couldn't remember the name of it, couldn't remember the author. I know it was maybe within the last year or two. So I know it was A Man Adopts a Dog. So I put in the description of the plot. Very simple. Let's see if I get anything. Okay, well, I'm getting 170. So I'm going to refine my results. So I'm going to put in it's adult, and it was fiction. And it was published relatively recently. So I'll say 2016. So I'm going to update the results. And I get 17. No, I know I'll know the book when I see it. I just can't remember the name of it. Oh, okay, here it is, Biloxi. This was the book that I was trying to find. Click on it, get the information, read the review. Yeah, that was the book I read. I had no memory of the title. It talks about it, and then I can check the catalog and then go on from there. So,
Nancy, do you find that these descriptions of the writing style and the tone, the pace, are those things helpful in searching? Or
they can be.
in other words, if you liked this book the way it was written, or and say, well, I want something else with that same style of writing, does it help to kind of turn around and use these terms? Or
well, these terms are relatively new. They're called appeal terms, and I think they are rather helpful. I'll show you something later on where you can see how they're used, very effectively. But I think it is. Like if you want a book of nonstop excitement, those appeal terms will tell you you're not going to find it in that book. So I think it is something that you can tailor to something that you really want. Okay, I'm going to look at, go back home, and what they do, the next thing that's important to look at is their recommended lists. Say, okay, we want something that's exciting. So let's see, thrillers and suspense, okay. And there's a subheading for that. We want a political thriller. So we click on this little subgenre, and it tells you what they are: political power plays, shady conspiracies, whatever, high octane. And they're giving us not a huge list, but it's got some, and it also has a list on the side. And you notice it has a James Patterson, which you're not going to really find too much with BookBrowse. So say we want this book, Lethal Savage. And look at the appeal terms, action-packed. It's fast-paced. It happens to be engaging. But you can say, well, you can look later on. There's a way to look for action-packed, fast-paced books. So that's the list here. You could choose anything. They also do audiobooks, and they review them as an audiobook, not just as a book. So you'll know what they think of it. So this list, and you could also switch it to nonfiction if you want, adult. You could see that the K through 8, they do have for little ones in here, but you can certainly exclude those. On the first page here, it's something which is, to me, is very important. I'm in the mood for books that are, and sometimes it's a book will appeal to you because of the mood that you're in. You want to read something that will take you away from your troubles or bring you back to the past, or so you can actually choose one of these moods. Say you want to have a lot of laughs. You put funny in own voices. And then you could look at the book. They also have this, which is Appeal Mixer. And this is when those appeal things. Okay, say you want, now the character is, and you can choose one of these. Courageous. The pace is fast pace. And the tone is dramatic. And let's see what they come. They come up with 119 books. So you could take a look at one of them and then see what you think. So this appeal mixer will help you find things. If you remember in BookBrowse, we were able to narrow it down by setting and by time period. You can't do that with these. But it's still, a way to find something that was going to match your mood, what you're in the mood for. Let's see what else. Keeping up. This will tell you about a lot of this is geared toward librarians, but there's not a secret club. You can still look at it. If you're interested in horror, you can look at these different things. They have they have lists, like if you like Stranger Things, it'll tell you what books would be appropriate for that. It also has awards. Now let's go back home. Okay, browse by, and you can browse by these different things, which we show. This is really for librarians. It's not, you can certainly look at it if you want. Author read-alikes. Adult fiction. Update results. And you can sort this by, say, author. So you get the A's first. Now, if you're looking for a specific author, you could, of course, go back up here to author, and we'll put in Stephen King, and then we can get his author read-alikes. So there's a couple of ways to get to the same thing.
Nancy, we have a question from the chat. Peter is asking, what's the best search database to find upcoming new books by an author?
By an author? By author. Well, most of them that I know of do it by date. But if you're looking for author, I would probably go into that author's webpage if they have a website. Or I would look at something like don't know if you have access to it. Novelist, not Novelist, NetGalley. Because I think NetGalley will let you look at stuff like that. But
did you want to pull that web page up? Is that something you use regularly?
I use it, but you have to be, it's like a club. You have to be accepted into it.
Really?
Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll give you free galleys, but they have to approve you. And so if you are a person who's a blogger or you have a huge book discussion group, then they want you to get the word out, or a librarian. But if you're just like a plain old Joe, they're not going to bother. And that's the same thing with Edelweiss. But I think if there was an author I was looking to see what was new, I would probably go into Amazon and see if there's anything there. Or I would there's things that librarians use, like Baker and Taylor I would use. But I would probably, if I was just a regular person who didn't have access to these things, I would look in Amazon, and then I would look on the author's website. Especially if it's a popular author, they're most likely going to be plugging their new books as well.
I mean, a lot of times on Amazon, they'll have the thing that the person is the anticipated publication date.
Yeah.
Far in the future.
Yeah, and a lot of things do change. There are a lot of books that have been pushed back. Joshua Henkin, his book was supposed to come out last spring, and it's not coming out till June of this year, so they pushed it back a year. But probably if I was a certain author that I was following, I would probably just look at their website.
Like if you're in an Amazon, you just have to know to sort by publication date.
Right.
When you're in the author page.
Right. And we also list on our website, we have under See What's New, we have Forthcoming Favorites, which is 6 months out. And you could find the author that way.
Maybe you want to show that, Nancy?
Yeah, I'm going to show that before we end.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back. The reader likes, they have things for book clubs, feature articles. The grab and go look nice, but that's only for kids. Curricular Connections is for kids. They have a How Do I, which is if you're not sure how to use things on here. The weakness to Novelist is that they don't have the excerpts, which is a nice little feature. They do claim that they, to choose reader likes, they hand select them as much as they can. But they also have a very sophisticated algorithm where they can tell if you like this, you'll like that. So I think most people are just more interested in getting a reader like rather than how it's formulated. But these are two databases that complement each other. One is very selective and one is very open. If you're looking for new books, you're better off using BookBrowse. If you're looking for more content, the Novelist Plus is where you want to be. So they're both good in different ways, and I'm glad we have both of them. And even if Newberg stops paying for it, I think we want to still keep it. Okay, so let's go back to the beach home. And there are database tutorials on Novelist and BookBrowse. They're very short. You could take a look at those. We have them for a lot of our databases. We're going to go back to New City Library to our homepage, and we're going to look at How Do I. And since a lot of people really want to know what's new, we're all pretty conscientious about attending to this. If you look at the first page, See What's New, you'll see romance, speculative fiction, new mysteries, new music. I post a new fiction every week, and I do it on the Friday before the Tuesday. Books are released generally on Tuesdays. We have an archive, so you can look back up. You can look at other things. And you could also check if you're interested in audiobooks. You can click on this, and there you go. Well, no, that's not it. Sometimes they're not updated as frequently as we would like. But you can look every week to see what's in. And I have a list by title. And then if you click on the cover, it gives you the catalog. Our copy is coming soon, which means it should be out in a day or two, and you can place a hold. So I think that's a nice feature, so people can keep up with the new stuff. Because as you know, it's very hard. We get probably, I guess, between 80 and 100 fiction titles a month. So that's a lot to keep track of. And I try and put in everything, even if it's not a well-known book. Like, I'm sure no one knows this book. I mean, sometimes lately with Patricia Cornwell, Preston and Child. So some of them are well-known, some not. The other place to look, if you're looking to the future, is Forthcoming Favorites. And this is done about 6 months out. I'll just go through here. You could see if you like Harlan Coben, and you could do Control F, and it tells you, okay, there's Harlan Coben showing up in March. Let's see if he shows up again. No, but that's a way to find out what's coming up by a favorite. Let's try somebody who's got more books. Steele. Okay, 1 of 3. The Affair, and in April. Okay, so that's a way that you can find out what's new, what's coming out. The other thing you can do, if you have a popular favorite author, is you can sign up for Automatically Yours, and that's for New City and West Nyack patrons. You get a list of authors, and you choose 10 from the list. And then when the book is ordered, I tell one of the staff members, and she has a list of people who are interested in that author, and she places it on hold for them automatically so that you don't have to miss anything that you're really interested in. Of course, this is not going to work with somebody who's not on the list, but we would certainly be very happy to take your, if you have, we were happy to search that for you if you want to know what's the newest book coming out by a certain author. This is all fiction also, so nonfiction readers are kind of out of luck with that. Let's go back to New City. So the other thing you could do is sign up for What's My Next Book, but that's if you want us to choose a book for you. Most people are doing this because they want to choose their own books. And I encourage you very strongly to use both of these because it's not convenient sometimes for people to come into the library, even without COVID, but some people don't want to come in and browse, even though we still allow browsing. And this is a way to see what's new. And then there's a way to find out more about the book without endangering your health or making a phone call. So I really hope that everybody will use these and have a good experience with them. I think they're pretty easy to use, but if you have any questions, you can look at the tutorial database page, or you could just give us a call. We can walk you through it.
Why don't you show them our Goodreads page, too?
Oh, okay. I think it's under See What's New. Staff picks on Goodreads. Okay, this is New City Library, and you could look currently, well, okay. They have different subjects, and if you like Brian's recommendation, click on that. And you could see what Brian has recommended. And I think it's very true that people will find someone who's got similar taste, and they'll say, well, I like everything Brian recommends. And they'll take a look this way. So this is our Goodreads page, which is constantly expanding. Amina, who doesn't work here anymore, unfortunately, we have a lot of her recommendations have stayed behind. Like Karen, she reads in speculative fiction, romance. So if your taste coincides, then you certainly should listen to what she has to say. Mary Phillips, mostly YA, because she's the YA librarian. Matthew All. He reads a lot of nonfiction, as you can see. So this is a really good way to find out what we want to read. I think also on Facebook, Dana asked the staff to put in, to tell her what we're reading, and she does that. Because I don't know of any librarian who doesn't read constantly. So the Goodreads is another place to look, and you can find it from the See What's New page. I'm going to show you NetGalley, which I use. Okay, so it knows it's me, but I have to sign in. What you can do, I have a shelf. I tell them what books I like, but you can, if you scroll down here, become a member if you're interested.
Do they send you books?
They will. I can say I want to read this book. And I can request it. This book's coming out in July. Why do I want to read it? Okay. Send request. I have to be approved. Your request is pending. But I do get books this way. Unfortunately, they kind of compete with the print books I'm already reading, but because they know I'm a librarian and I buy fiction and mystery, and they want me to buy their book. So they're happy, and then they want me to post a review. But I think you can try to join. But even if you don't join, of course, it knows it's me. You can browse publishers. You can look at, say, Angry Robot, and it has what's coming out. Or you can find titles. You can put a title in here. How beautiful we were.
In nonfiction, how about Valcor down there? What's that?
Here? Okay, let's see.
Wasn't that Benedict Arnold was in that?
The Crucial Listo game. Oh, yeah. So if Brian wants it, he can read it. You can request it. Are you, because everyone, I don't know if everybody in my department is a member. I know that Janet must be, because she reads a lot of pre-pub books. So it's not a bad idea if you can get in, if you can join, become a member. It's free and easy. So what I mostly use this for is I want to know what's coming out in the next 6 months or so. So you could recently added audiobooks, and then you could do it by pub date, and it tells you what's coming out. This one's not coming out till August, but it gives you an idea of what's coming out. And if you're interested in a particular author, okay, Liv Constantine has a book coming out. But if, say, I'm a big fan, and this book is coming out in July, Stranger in the Mirror, and I can, what they'll do is they'll send it to my Kindle. They'll send it to my Kindle app. You just go on and there's a few little steps that you have to do, but this is a nice way to get new books, before they're published. The other one, and this one probably, it's a little bit more complicated, it's Above the Tree Line, Edelweiss. Oh. Okay, here we go. And this is also another way to get new books. I think 3 of us at the library are members of this. And it has catalogs, it has review copies. I read a book through them. I ordered a book and they sent it to me. But if I'm interested in reading something, and it's all books, it's all kinds of books. So, what was that book, Valcor?
Yes.
Val.
VALCOUR.
Okay,
It was a naval battle, upstate New York, with I believe with Benedict
What's
Arnold
going on?
was involved.
All right, I'm going to search for Balcour. Okay, so this tells you a little bit about the book. It's got 2 community reviews. This is the community much loved. Now, if I want to write a review, I can't see. It might be underneath this, but we can get it through. They're not connected really. NetGalley. They're different companies. But you can request it. I just don't see where it is here. It might be over here, but I'm not. Review copies. So you could ask for things. But you could also, I would probably, if I was looking for a particular author, I would probably use NetGalley rather than Edelweiss. I've never used Edelweiss that much until recently, but I do like to look at the new catalogs to get stuff that's out. But you can look under publishers, catalogs, review copies. But I think you have to be a member. Our library is a member, or at least my profile.
Well,
But
this is probably a bit more than most people.
Yeah, it is. It's a little dry. I'm not crazy about it. But this is our Goodreads page. But definitely use all of these resources. And of course, you can always use us. There's always someone at the reference desk you can call. You can email us on NWC-Ref if you have a question.
And our shelf talkers in the
Our
library.
shelf talkers, which I'm a big fan of. They really, when I was doing that, when I was still working from the library, I loved doing those because there were so many deserving books that needed to get in the hands of readers. It really, I love finding books that are by these mid-list authors that are not, they're just not the James Pattersons of the world. They don't have 500,000 print runs. And yet, they deserve to be read, and they're harder to find. So, I think that using our Goodreads page, using Novelist, using BookBrowse, you will be able to find those hidden little gems. So,
thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you. I hope everyone got something out of it, and that you will use. And if you have any questions, just give us a call, and never stop reading.